Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission, really, is to get into some material that fundamentally defines how businesses try to connect with you, the modern consumer. And we're specifically diving deep into a marketing methodology that's, well, it's gained massive, proven global traction over the last decade or so.
Yeah, that's right.
But in many places, it still gets kind of overlooked for the older, more traditional ways.
It does, and we're really zeroing in on that core strategic conflict, you could say, in modern customer acquisition. Inbound marketing versus outbound marketing.
Right.
And while we know traditional or outbound methods are, really common everywhere, inbound isn't just some passing trend. It's a whole structural approach that's been developing, refining its systems for, well over 10 years internationally.
Okay, so our goal for you, the listener, is pretty straightforward today. By the end of this conversation, you won't just know the definitions.
Hopefully not, yeah.
You'll have a clear sort of strategic grasp of the difference between these push and pull strategies. And more importantly, you'll have a map, really, of the complete systematic four-stage framework, the engine you might call it, of that successful pull strategy.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. So I think to really appreciate the efficiency and, frankly, the success of the newer method, we kind of have to start by understanding the problems with the old system it's replacing. The old standard outbound marketing.
Outbound marketing, yeah.
So,
that's what we call the push-out approach. It's basically the model where the seller, the business, initiates the contact.
Whether you want it or not.
Exactly, whether the recipient wants it or not. And the core mechanism is using mass media, TV, radio, billboards to just spread a message really widely, hitting the biggest possible audience.
We all know those examples, don't we? The huge highway billboards, the radio ads cutting in telemarketing calls right at dinner time.
Oh, yeah.
Those promotional texts you never asked for. It's all built on interruption, isn't it?
It really is. But I think what's crucial to focus on here is the profound financial inefficiency of that strategy.
How so?
Well, you're spending a lot of money to broadcast to this massive general group, just hoping to reach the tiny subgroup who might actually be viable prospects.
Right.
So from an ROI perspective, a return on investment view, you're basically paying to annoy, 99% of people just to maybe reach the 1% who might care?
That's a great way to put it. And that inefficiency, it seems like it's only gotten worse in the digital age. Lots of businesses think, oh, we're digital now, but they're still running that same old outbound playbook. Absolutely.
I mean, just think about your own online experience. You're trying to watch a quick 5-minute video, maybe a news clip or a recipe, and boom, a 30-second unskippable video ad interrupts you. That's classic digital outbound. Or those banner ads, the display ads that just follow you around or clutter up the website you're trying to read.
Interrupting the flow again. And we, as consumers, we've gotten really good at resisting that, haven't we? We skip, we block, we just ignore it.
We have. We've developed an iron resistance, like you said. And this is where outbound really struggles to recognize that the power has shifted. Consumers, as the source material points out, have built these comprehensive filter systems. They download ad blockers. They'll pay for premium services just to avoid ads.
Sure. Spotify, YouTube Premium.
Exactly. And they use search engines like Google to specifically seek out information, actively avoiding those broadcast channels. So outbound is constantly fighting against these filters we've put up, which just makes the cost to reach someone effectively skyrocket. The whole philosophy is, well, it's fundamentally flawed for today's buyer who wants to educate themselves first.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly then for the counter concept, the philosophy that works on earning attention instead of just demanding it. And here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk inbound marketing.
Right. Inbound marketing. It just flips the script completely. Instead of pushing a message out, the whole strategy is about using marketing to actively pull people in.
Pull them in. How?
The magnet, the force used for this attraction, is content.
Okay, but content, that can mean a lot of things. It can't just be like a hidden sales pitch, can it? The sources seem really clear that the quality, the usefulness is key.
That is the absolute core principle. The content has to be inherently interesting, genuinely useful, valuable to the person consuming it.
Okay.
The entire strategy is meticulously designed to attract only the people who are already potential prospects, people who are actively out there looking for solutions or information in your specific area. You're not just buying eyeballs, you're creating relevance.
So you're meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
And this valuable content, it could be anything, right? Like comprehensive articles or...
Oh, yeah. Industry surveys, detailed white papers or publications, downloadable ebooks, helpful how-to videos, checklists, templates, lots of formats. Anything that solves a problem or answers a question for that target person.
And this whole approach, it works because of that consumer shift you mentioned earlier, right?
Exactly. Consumers today, we're all empowered. We have almost frictionless access to information through search engines, through social media. People actively research, sometimes for weeks or even months before they even think about talking to a salesperson. So inbound marketing meets them right there in that research phase. It offers value up front without demanding a sale or even a commitment immediately. It's about building trust first.
So it's not paying for interruption. It's earning attention through being useful, becoming a trusted resource.
Precisely.
And the sources really emphasize it's not just about writing one great article. It's the whole system that comes after that initial attention. Right? That's what turns interest into an actual measurable relationship.
That's spot on. That structural element is what really differentiates proper inbound marketing from just, say, content marketing. It's the systematic process, the engine that happens after you've attracted someone. That's what turns that attention into revenue and, ideally, into long-term advocacy for your brand.
Okay, let's dive into that structure then. This 4-stage inbound methodology. This sounds like the core framework people need to grasp. If you're serious about this, understanding these 4 mandatory steps and how they flow together seems crucial.
It absolutely is. The whole system is designed to sort of guide a prospect through this logical, behavior-driven journey, taking them from being a complete stranger, someone who's maybe never even heard of your company, all the way to becoming a hopefully highly delighted customer who then actively promotes you to others. It's a full cycle.
Okay, step 1 then. Attract. We need to get the right eyeballs on the right content. What are the specific actions here? How do we turn strangers into visitors?
Okay, the main action here is creating and publishing that useful content we talked about. Content that directly answers the questions your ideal prospects are asking.
And the tools?
Well, the key tools are things like your company blog that needs to be a constant source of fresh, valuable information. And critically, optimizing that content for keyword search.
SEO.
Exactly, search engine optimization. Because people search for solutions, right? They search for how to fix X or best way to do Y, not necessarily for your brand name, at least not initially.
Makes sense.
So if you publish the best answer to their search query, the search engine, like Google, brings them right to your digital doorstep. Then you use tools like social media strategically, not just to blast ads, but to distribute and promote that useful content to relevant audiences.
Okay, so they find your useful content, they click the link, they land on your website, boom, they're a visitor. That brings us to step 2. Convert. We've got their attention, but they're still anonymous, right? We need to know who they are.
Correct. The goal shifts here. We need to change those anonymous website visitors into known leads. And this means setting up a kind of fair value exchange.
Value exchange.
Yeah, we encourage them to interact further. And in return for something else valuable, maybe a more in-depth guide, a checklist, a template, that ebook we mentioned, they share some basic contact information with us.
Got it. And what are the specific tools used for that exchange? The mechanics of it?
Okay, this is where you use things like a clear call to action or CTA. That's the button or the link saying download the guide now or get the checklist.
Right.
That CTA doesn't just go anywhere. It leads them to a dedicated landing page. This page is super focused just on that one offer, and it contains a form.
The form. Yeah.
That form is the gateway. They fill it out, maybe just name an email or perhaps a bit more depending on the value offered and the moment they hit submit. That anonymous visitor converts into a known lead. And now the systematic nurturing process can really kick in.
Okay, so now we have a lead, someone who's raised their hand and shown interest. This feels like where the real relationship building starts in step 3. Close. You mentioned outbound often rushes the sale here, but inbound is more about systematic analysis and nurturing.
Yes, nurturing. This close phase is really the strategic powerhouse of inbound. The goal is clear. Move those interested leads towards becoming actual paying customers. But how you do it is different. It requires ongoing, relevant communication. That's the lead nurturing part. And increasingly, it relies on smart systemic automation.
Okay, let's slow down on lead nurturing and tools like workflows, because those terms get thrown around a lot, sometimes just as jargon. Why is nurturing so critical, and what do these workflows actually do?
Good question. Nurturing is critical because, honestly, only a tiny fraction of leads are ready to buy the instant they convert, maybe 1-2%. Most are still researching, comparing options, figuring things out.
Okay.
Workflows are essentially automated sequences of actions, usually emails or internal notifications, that are triggered by a lead's behavior or data. They ensure the right person gets the right information at the right time, based purely on what they've shown interest in. It's about staying relevant and helpful, not pushy.
Can you give an example of that behavior-driven automation?
Sure. Let's say a lead downloads an ebook titled The Top 5 Challenges in IT Security for Small Businesses. The system logs that.
Right.
The automated workflow might then be set up to wait, say, 3 days, and then automatically send them a follow-up email with maybe a case study showing how your company solved a complex security issue for a similar small business.
So it's directly related content.
Exactly. But if instead that same lead visited your pricing page multiple times or requested a demo, the workflow might trigger an instant notification to a salesperson because that behavior indicates much higher buying intent.
Got it. So it's moving the sale forward by delivering more value, more relevant information based on what they actually do.
Precisely. It's delivering utility, not just a cold call or a generic sales pitch.
So the system kind of acts like an automated, very personalized assistant salesperson, making sure the lead gets what they need to progress and saving the human sales team's effort for the leads who are genuinely closer to buying.
That's a great way to think about it. And that directly explains the lower cost per acquisition that businesses typically see with inbound. You're focusing resources efficiently.
Okay.
So in this close stage, we use detailed data analysis processes, maybe lead scoring, coupled with that smart automated email system and those workflows. This focused, relevant follow-up is what converts the lead into a paying customer much more effectively and usually more cost-effectively than the old mass outreach of outbound.
Makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
And that leads us finally to the stage that really seems to define the difference between just making a sale and building a long-term sustainable business.
Yeah.
Step 4, delight.
Yes, delight. The goal here is all about continuous relationship maintenance. Once someone becomes a customer, your job isn't over. In fact, in some ways, it's just a beginning.
How so?
The key focus shifts entirely to maximizing their customer experience. You want them to feel supported, listened to, and valued long after they've made that initial purchase. This could involve great customer service, exclusive content for customers, surveys asking for feedback, loyalty programs.
Why is this final stage so vital to the whole inbound methodology? It sounds nice, but is it essential?
Oh, it's absolutely essential because a delighted customer does 2 incredibly valuable things. First, they often become a repeat customer, increasing their lifetime value.
Right.
But perhaps even more importantly, they become an active promoter of your brand. They feed right back into the top of that attract funnel.
Wow.
By recommending you to friends or colleagues, providing positive reviews and testimonials, sharing your content, essentially spreading positive word of mouth, which is still the most powerful form of marketing there is.
So the inbound methodology is really a closed loop, isn't it? It starts by offering value to attract strangers, and it ends with delighted customers who then help attract the next wave of strangers through their advocacy.
Exactly. It's designed to be a self-sustaining cycle, fueled by value and positive experience.
That is the complete system then, a journey across 4 critical stages: attract, convert, close, and delight, all built on trust and delivering value.
Yeah, and if we just boil it down, synthesize this whole thing, the fundamental difference really comes down to resources and method, doesn't it? Outbound marketing uses big budgets and, frankly, intrusion to try and reach generalized masses.
The push.
Whereas inbound marketing uses intellectual value, useful content, and a structured, behavior-driven system to attract specific, already interested people.
The pull.
You know, the former, outbound, it kind of sees the customer as just a passive target to be advertised at. Inbound sees the customer as an active partner, someone to engage with throughout their buying journey.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener?
Well, I think for anyone in a competitive field today, anyone looking to connect with an audience that actively does its homework, values knowledge, and seeks out solutions.
Which is most audiences, exactly. This inbound system provides a really clear end-to-end guide. It takes you from that very first moment a stranger finds your useful content, all the way through nurturing them into a customer, and then focusing on that long-term client care. It really is a proven map for cutting acquisition costs and seriously boosting the quality of your leads.
And the source material we looked at is pretty clear that this global shift towards inbound, it's not really something businesses can afford to just passively watch anymore.
Right.
If you recognize that this inbound way is the path forward, if you believe this is the right approach for connecting with modern buyers, the advice is pretty stark. Don't delay. Start building these systematic processes now, or risk letting the opportunity slip away.
That really leads to an important final question, doesn't it? It's something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. We've spent this time defining push versus pull in the context of business marketing. But if we zoom out a bit, where else in your professional life, or maybe even your personal life, are you still kind of defaulting to a push strategy? Maybe broadcasting generic requests really widely, interrupting people, using sheer volume or force to get attention.
That's an interesting thought.
Could a systematic pull strategy, where you consistently offer genuine value, demonstrate utility, and basically earn attention and engagement over time, could that actually be far more effective in reaching whatever goals you have? Whether it's influencing colleagues, building your network, or even just communicating better. It's definitely something worth exploring further.